I'll see you in the land of Mordor. Death awaits you at the border. Pass on through the gates of fun, destroy the ring of power and wonder.
Hey, Middle-earth role-playing fans, Roman Daisel here, back with another video. We're going with Daggerlad and the Dead Marshes. This is 8020 or 8020 of the series. It's the second adventure module that they brought out, and we're dealing with an area just outside the Black Gates, the Daggerlad, and the Dead Marshes, which is the battlefield, a great battlefield during the War of the Last Alliance. This book came out in 1984. Unfortunately, it was out of print by the time I started collecting, and I had to get this off eBay back in like 2000. So I bought it off eBay, had it shipped. I was in Korea, South Korea at the time, so I had to ship it. Had it shipped back to Belmont, and didn't see it for a couple of years. It kind of sucked. So I never got to read it until I came home in 2002. So I never got a chance to play this game. Now it gives a pretty cool map of the area, the Dead Marshes. As you know, Frodo, Sam, and Gollum went through there. And the Daggerlad, which is the battle plain. And basically the Dead Marshes are called that because the marshes that existed swallowed up the mass graves that they had. So the area is massively dotted with graves. And this map, if you were to photocopy it, would actually connect really well to the Sea Lords of Gondor map. I like how it gives you the Falls of Rhoris, and the Sarngibber, and the Argonath. And you see the two hills on the other side of the end. Most of the color maps you get in the campaign modules don't go that far. So this is definitely something to photocopy. This is the cover, so I'm not going to tear it off. And it also gives you the Vale of Udin and the Morannon, Durthaing Castle. So I love the map. I wish they just added it as a pullout. One more thing with the map, and with this map they also give you numbers, so location. You can find things, there's 7, there's 4, 10, 1. So things that are mentioned in the book, you can find it by the number. Use guidelines, nothing special there. The introduction to the Daggerlad, you get the land, then and now. So the now is 1640 as always. You get the plain, the marshes, the climate, the flora. Talks about weeds, like plant life that you can find. Nothing really special. Herbs and poison, the fauna. So you're going to get one of the interesting creatures is the Nineveh, or giant hellbender, which isn't mentioned in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit at all. I think it's mentioned in the Adventures of Tom Bombadil. It gives brief mention to a giant hellbender. Aquatic carnivore and amphibian. Almost like a huge frog. It jumps up and grabs you. It's got some snakes, fishing cats, the black mink. So nothing too special there. Don't really go into that. Peoples of the region, so you have the Marshmen, the Ninedin. So there would be people living in the marshes, eking out an existence. And they're probably more related to the Dunmen, or the Dain Coentus. So then you have men of Gondor, who would patrol the outer reaches, because this is at a time when Gondor still controlled much of the Daggerlad, the Morannon, and also their territory of Dor Runin that stretched from the western side of the Sea of Rune and up into the Mirkwood, and then the borders of the Ered Luthien, the Thui, the Ash Mountains. So Gondor had an extensive eastern territory as a buffer zone. We go into the Astriags, who are an Easterling tribe, and they raid constantly with the Gondorians. But they're not strong enough. And they say there are 2 tribes of Astriags that are in the region. So they're persecuted by the Sagath to the north and by the men of Khan to the south, and are being pushed by other Easterlings in the east. You also have some urban Northmen, and of course you're going to have orcs if you're close to Mordor, as well as trolls. Undead beings. So there are undead beings here. Gives you the general nature. Ghouls. I don't think there's any ghouls in Tolkien's world, so that's a MERP creation. Race, there's only the main race are the Nazgul. Ghosts, there's not a lot of ghosts in Tolkien's works. Corpse candles are about the biggest ghosts you're going to find, and the ones that the dead at Dunharrow, the Oathbreakers. But there's reasons for that. But you're not going to find many ghosts. And it gives you a summary of the undead. You got a ghoul, greater ghoul, skeleton. Again, skeletons don't pose a problem at all in Lord of the Rings. Skeleton Lord, Corpse Candle. Corpse Candle you're going to find. or a corpse lantern, or a swamp star. Those are like the lights that Frodo, Sam, and Gollum see in the Dead Marshes. You're going to find a variant of those three. Then you have greater ghosts, ghost, and barrel whites. Barrel whites are something that's real. So it might be possible to see a barrel white in the Dead Marshes. That's a possibility. They have politics in the regions and places of interest. So at this time, Sauron is hiding away in Dol Guldur and slowly rebuilding his strength and influence in Mordor itself. So there's orcs constantly traversing the plain between Dol Guldur and Mordor. But how they're getting through Mordor when the Black Gates are controlled by Gondor is a mystery. They're probably going the long way around, or through secret tunnels. Gives you some places of note. So they do mention some the keys. Like I said, number 10 was a haunted town sites. One is Tir Nindor. There'd be a couple of small minor towers and outposts that Gondor would keep in the region. So there's no surprise there. It's got the fortresses of Gondor. So Tir Nindor is a wetland watch, is one of them. The villages, so Caris Gwindor is a small village. Ethel Celebrin. Not a lot of people live in that region. The tombs of Daggerlad, there would be a whole bunch of them dotted around before the Black Gate and in the Dead Marshes. There would be bandits, the Tol Malbor, the bandits of the Dead Marshes. And then Sarnan Thirwingweth, said to be the home of demons and ghosts for haunting lights flickered over the stone spires at night. And it's the home of one of the main NPCs in the area. So now you get diseases. Obviously in a marsh you're going to get malaria, dysentery, things like that. Player character background, selecting an adventure, suggestions, using traps, suggesting safe starting points for adventure. So the Gondorian fortresses obviously are a safe starting point. And then it goes into the NPCs you're going to find. The lords at Tir Nindor. So it's a military outpost, so you're going to get a Thangon, which is kind of like a captain or lieutenant colonel. Would be the modern day equivalent. Maybe a lesser lord. Gives a description of all the major guys that they have there. Military operations at Tir Nindor. It gives a summary of the Gondor's military in Dor Runin itself. So there's one regent, and there's an army of 2,000 plus men to hold the whole region. So it's a very small garrison for a large area. And then it gives Gondor's garrison at Tir Nindor. So it would be a large garrison. Then it goes through the layout of the fortress itself. Nothing special there, like any other MERP campaign book you see. Caris Gwindor, same idea. Smaller village with a small group of small garrison. Prices in the region, the town plan, gives you the NPCs at Ethel Celebrin and the rural folk. Now it's got the adventure, so you get a ring of thieves, so there would be a thieves guild. There would be trade going through Dor Runin. The Gondorians would have traded with the people of Dorwinion, where they're famous for their wines, as well as the Northmen of Rovania in the east bight of Mirkwood and up into the Long Lake. So it would be a trading network. So near Tir Nindor, Burgil, the warden, or the Targan, the captain, he wants to get rid of the thieves in his area, so he sends you off. He mentions the Astraeags near Ethel Celebrin, spies, adventuring around the Tel Verenir, which is the marshlands of the Nindalf, and a marsh village. So it gives you a very brief map of marsh village. So 7 adventures with the bandits to Tol Malbor, basically Combres Med, robbers and cutthroats who prey on farms, estates, and caravans. And he's a former Dunedain / Northman, lesser Dunedain warrior. And he's got his merry band of men holed up in an old estate on an island. So it gives you all the layouts of the house of the estate on this island. That's pretty impressive for a marsh settlement. Highly unlikely. Gondor never really built anything huge out in the Runin area. So then we got the gift caravan. So another adventure. So basically caravan guards, kind of a boring adventure. Not something I did. I never liked the caravan adventures, caravan guards. The journey to Tol Malbor. And finally you get the adventures in Thuringowath. I'm butchering that name. It's got a shadow and a high fortress. And it's supposed to be an evil place. So a lady of black Numenorean blood called Murumur. So she's from Umbar and she became enamored with the black arts and became a disciple of Sauron and she was sent to that area to work her evil plots. I never really liked this idea. I thought it was going a little too far, but Then it gives the layout of the stronghold itself, the NPCs you're going to find there, and you could adventure to try and get rid of her. Find out the secret of the place. So like I said, I never used this campaign, and I never used this book because I bought it too late. So then it gives you some suggested adventures, scouting Thringwast, adventures with the undead, so a black Numenorean barrow. I don't think so, because the Numenoreans would not have made any. They wouldn't have made any barrows for black Numenoreans because they won the battle. So what the hell's a black Numenorean barrel doing out there? Highly unlikely. So that's again Merp taking creative license. This is cool. This is neat. At the very end, you get a color map of Caris Gwindor and Tir Nindor. So you see the walled town and then the actual fortress itself. A layout of Aethern Celebrant, and then a layout of the Sarnan Thringwath. And the back cover is pretty neat because you see the original first edition Middle-earth role-playing rulebook cover, as well as Bree and the first 6 campaign modules, and also you get the full guidebook and poster map. So it kind of got you into the mood. Overall, I didn't. This book is okay. I don't think I'd ever send anyone here to the Dagger Lad, other than to scout out the Black Gate during the War of the Ring type era. It's hit and run missions using the dead marshes to cover your tracks. But I wouldn't see sending anyone there. Frodo, Sam, and Gollum didn't have a fun time in there, so why would anyone else? The Dagger Lad might be better. But again, the Gondorian influence was so small in that region. It was mostly just a border province, or it was basically a buffer zone against the Easterlings. It would have been better if Dagger Lad had also included the Towers of the Teeth, and maybe incorporated North Ithilien, for Ithilien. That would have been much better. But then that would have made it into a huge campaign book. But anyway, any other Middle-earth role-playing fans, let me know if you guys actually found this book. Did you use it? How did you like it? And leave comments in the comment section. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Until next time, this is Roman Day Slime out of here.
Shadows increasing, beats throughout the land, they ceasing, evil mist flows through the valley, silence wearing never ceasing. From out this barren empty land, nations formed from brick and sand, now is almost as before, peace in Middle Earth no more. Black riders on the very trail, Hobbit's mission cannot fail, ring must stand by.